Today's video is brought to you by the letter C for cat. This is a little kitty I brought home with me. It's very sweet. Alright, enjoy the rest of the video. Bye! Alright, Hi-Fri fam. Just a quick, really super quick video today. I'm going to have a follow-up to this, which is going to be the full review, but I just wanted to do a quick unboxing and comparison between the Performer 5 and the Performer 8, just as far as accessories go, differences in packaging, and whatnot. But before I proceed, I just wanted to thank Hi-Fi Go for sending these in. Well, originally the Performer 5, they sent these in because it was the AFUL's first debut into the US and EU and world markets. And so it's been a while since this one's been out, and you guys have already seen my partial teardown and my review of the Performer 5. And today we have the follow-up to that, which is the bigger brother. It's the Performer 8. It features 1 dynamic driver and 7 balanced armatures, as opposed to 1 dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures. And also, as a little gift, they sent over the Dunu SNS tips. These are SNS stands for Studio and Stage, so they're kind of, I'll explain the tips a little bit more in depth later, but I just wanted to kind of go over the differences between the two and kind of show you guys a little bit about the IEMs themselves. Alright, so first we have the Performer 5. I'll just take it out of the box real quick. You guys have already seen this, so I'll just make it quick. So we have our little insert here with some paperwork. We have the IEMs themselves, which are very lovely looking. They have a very nice finish. Then we have the cable here. This is like a silver and what is it? Silver and like graphene looking cable. 3.5 millimeter termination, 2-pin. And then we have a hard shell case here, and underneath where the IEMs are, whoops, we have the ear tips. So just a single type of ear tip, just typical silicone. Nothing fancy, nothing special as far as the ear tips go. But yeah, so there's the packaging, and then I will just remove the IEMs, and we can take a closer look at the finish here. So you can kind of see they have this kind of flame lava style, like crinkled foil. It's a very nice finish. All right, in one of these, yeah, this is the one. So you can see this is the one I took apart. There's just a little crack. I didn't do the best job fixing it up, but for the most part you can't really tell. I mean, you really have to be looking at it to know that it was even opened. Just that little portion down there, and then just a little crack there. So that's my repair after disassembling it and putting it back together. But yeah, very, very nice. Alright, so let me zoom out and then we'll get to the next one. So before I get into the Performer 8, I just wanted to open up the Dunu SNS tips and kind of show you guys the ear tips. Come in this fancy packaging here. And so the Dunu SNS tips are for anyone who has ever tried the, oh, come on, get out. So for anybody who has ever tried the reverse star lines, okay, or if you have ever been interested in trying reverse star lines, the Dunu is the solution for you. Firstly, you don't have to fiddle around with reversing the star lines. It's very similar in profile. They're essentially already kind of like reverse per se. Very soft silicone material. So they're actually very nice ear tips. But yeah, so this is the Dunu SNS tips. You can get 3 different sizes. I believe they're $12 online. But yeah, they're nice. I mean, this is pretty much a rich man's or a more refined version of the reverse star lines. So I've definitely been enjoying them. I do like them. They're good for IEMs where you want to bring out a little bit more of the stage. So if you want to, get a little more increase in width or dimensionality to the stage, and you would like a little bit more resolution. You want to hear a little bit more of the detail. These are very good. They definitely bring out more of the detail in the IEMs as opposed to like a narrow bore or a like a foam ear tip. But anyway, yeah, so those are the SNS tips. Very nice tips. But yeah, so you can get these on Hi-Fi Go's website. Like I said, they're like $11, $12, something like that. But yeah, so they are super snazzy. And as far as the material, they're not hard to clean. They're very easy to clean. They don't really, I mean, they do attract a little bit of debris, but they're very easily wiped off or washed off. So I really like these. I think they're good tips. So anyway, so here's the Performer 8. Now, this uses a lot of the same technology from the Performer 5. So it has their RLC frequency division technology. So resistor, capacitor, inductor, net, which is basically instead of having everything in series, you have certain circuits in parallel and you have some in series. It's just a fancy way of saying a better quality crossover, like an actual crossover with, it may have like a frequency notch in one area, may have a high pass or low pass, all kinds of stuff. And then you have this micro resonator technology. Now, they have, I guess, made a patent for it, but it's 0.15 millimeter in size, I guess. So very, very tiny. But yeah, so these micro resonator technologies, it's a huge zigzag of 3D printed cavity where the sound travels through, and yeah, so super cool. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a fan of AFUL just for all the technology that is in the IEMs. Even though they may not be the best sounding IEMs, they really do a good job with the technology that goes in. There's a lot of math involved, and their tuning principles are solid. I'll just say that. So, the outcome, depending on the set of IEMs, it may not be to your liking, or you may love it, but the technology itself is very sound, and their tuning principles are awesome. So anyway, we got our impedance 30 ohms, sensitivity 115 dB, so pretty sensitive. Frequency response is 5 to 35 kilohertz. Then we have one dynamic driver. Now this is a 8 millimeter biofiber. Then we have 7 balanced armatures. Now, it's a little different from the Performer 5, where you just get one dynamic for bass, 2 balanced armatures for mids, and 2 balanced armatures for highs. In this case, you get one dynamic driver for bass, 2 balanced armatures for mid bass / mids, then 2 for mids, and 3 balanced armatures for treble. So you get one more balanced armature for the treble, and you get 2 more in the lower mids. So that is the difference between the 8 and the 5. So you get an extra 3 balanced armatures. So we will unbox this. Alright, so here is our Performer 8 packaging. We have the same little manual here. Little nicer case. These metal cases are a little bit cheaper, although I do think they are probably a little more durable. Again, there's the shot of the cable from the Performer 5. So here is the case for the Performer 8. It's a nice case. I like it. A little squeaky there. Now here is the cable for the Performer 8. This appears to be a pure copper cable. It may be, let me check real quick. Yeah, it doesn't say the cable material, but anyway, it appears to be full copper. So we have that. And then we have the IEMs themselves. So these are very fancy. So the difference between the 5 and the 8 is kind of in the material itself. So they have multicolored, like it's almost like a rainbow of like bronze and orange and reds, yellows. So it kind of goes in layers, and both sides are the same way. So you have these like these different layers and colors to the finish. But very nice. And same thing, you have the printing on top, Performer 8. They've made a few improvements to the nozzle here. If I can show you guys, it's kind of hard to see inside. So they made a couple improvements to the inside, using a black dampener instead of a white one for the treble. That is because they are using higher quality balanced armatures for the treble. Then we have the big hole up top is for the mids, and the small hole to the right is for the bass. And it has the same patented fish mouth design, but in this case it looks like they have made a few improvements to it and made it a little bit better from the Performer 5. So just a little bit better. And yeah, so anyway, so that's the finish. And again, just one more time, I'll just show you guys. So the Performer 5. Come on, focus. So yeah, so there's Performer 5 versus the Performer 8. Let me try to zoom out. I'm sorry, guys. Stupid camera. But yeah, so it's a nice finish. Alright, I'm going to pause real quick. Actually, no, here, I'll just show you guys the tips selection that you get with the Performer 8. So, 2 different types of tips this time. So we have our standard like KBO7 style tips. And then we have these. Okay, so yeah, these are like KBO7 kind of style as well. I'm not sure the difference between the two. So maybe a difference, maybe not. I don't really see much of a difference between the ear tips. But yeah, so not the biggest selection of ear tips, but with what you're getting as far as the technology inside the IM and the tuning and whatnot, I think it kind of makes up for the difference in price, because you still get, you know, all the accessories that you need, but really the important part is the build quality, the selection of drivers, the technology, the sound, the comfort. That kind of stuff is really what you're paying for when it comes to these IMs. And yeah, so really is, in my opinion, it is a bargain at the prices that they're asking. I mean, $200 for the Performer 5. Now, I haven't compared it to very many other like hybrids. I mean, I have compared it to a few, and just listening to the Performer 5 again last night, I really enjoyed listening to it. It brought back a lot of memories listening to it. I mean, it's been almost a year since I listened to it, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the Performer 8, will kind of get into the evolution of the tuning and stuff later, but for now I just wanted to kind of show you guys what you get with each IM. Let me just move this back. All right. So as far as the size of the shells are concerned, so we get, actually, let me grab this one. So we get a slightly larger shell on the Performer 8. It's just a little bit deeper. The bulk of it looks almost the same, maybe just a tiny bit larger. But you can mostly see, like from the top here, that it is slightly deeper. But the nozzle angle is the same. The fit, like the ear shape, is identical. All the markings are pretty much identical. And then you can see here Performer 5, Performer 8, and then the updated fish mouth design. It's a little bit thicker wall, so it's more resistant to breaking. If you ever dropped it without like an ear tip on, it would be a little bit more difficult to break. And then the way that they fit the dampeners in there and the where the sound protrudes, they made it a little bit better on the Performer 8. They gave it just a little bit more room. You can't really tell, it's really hard to see on camera, but on the Performer 5, the holes where the sound comes out kind of cuts into the wall of the nozzle, and you can kind of even see my skin color through the nozzle wall, whereas on the Performer 8 it's much thicker, so they kind of built it up a little bit more, and they kind of brought the outlets in just a little bit, where they're not actually cutting into the outer wall of the IM itself. But same finish, same lacquer, same everything, just different face plates. And yeah, so that is the difference between these two IM. So as for the presentation, I do like the soft case a little nicer, although I do prefer the protection of the metal case a little bit more. The difference in cost is $150 from the Performer 5 to the Performer 8. And really, I think it's justified. I'll go into why when I talk about sound impressions and whatnot, and show you guys the graphs and all that. But yeah, so there's $150 difference in cost, but you're getting significantly higher quality drivers in the Performer 8. You're getting an improved tuning. The cable I do like more on the Performer 5. I think it's a nicer quality cable. It's a little less stiff. The cable on the Performer 8, it might have better quality conductors, I'm not sure, but they're thinner, and I'm not a real big fan of the weave. I like the weave better on the Performer 5 cable. It just flows a little bit nicer, and it just kind of lays a little bit nicer. It's a little more comfortable than the Performer 8 cable. But yeah, so that's essentially the difference between the two. And in the next video, which I'll post later on today, I will show you guys, or I'll talk about the differences in sound, and we'll get into impressions and all that. So anyway, thanks again. Huge thank you to Hi-Fi Go for doing this tour. They did not send these to me for review to keep. This is a review unit, and we're going to pass it on to a few different reviewers, but I just happened to be the first stop. So anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.